What's it going to look like in 150 games?
OK, so currently 18th, looking like they will claim the wooden spoon, but you never know with that Suns game in the final round. And, Jono, what about the Saints? They host Geelong at Marvel next week, and then they've got Carlton at Marvel in round 24. Last week, really smashed in the contest, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, and that's the disappointing part. And they'll respond. You'd think today, and I'm looking at Owens and Higgins in particular as a couple of players who I think, if they get their ball movement right, could really cash in. Sharman's the other one who I've really enjoyed the second part of this season. He was a little bit quieter last week. Week before that was probably their best forward. So he's one player that has got some assets, has got the ability to kick multiple goals in the game if he gets the right matchup, and I think he'll get that today.
Like the look of Sharman. He's still going to be your hybrid forward who will be the jumper. Third deep, he'll jump. You still need somebody who's going to come out and absolutely take the game by the scruff of the neck. That's who you hope King becomes. So he's been spasmodic, he's been hot, he's been cold. You need consistency out of him. They need midfield depth. I mean, Jack Steele there is their best midfielder, and he's a bull. He's not, and I say this with the greatest deal of respect, he's not a true class player. He's a bull who you would pin your life on, but they need class in the midfield.
It's a great call because you look at what Port Adelaide done around Ollie Wines. Ollie Wines is the bull.
Yeah.
And then they've got Butters and Rosie and now Horn Francis. Exactly. And that's where Jack Steele, as good as he is and as committed he is to the contest, he needs that spark around him to be the player that he can really be.
And you can still be the captain and the bull.
Absolutely you can.
If you're the fourth best midfielder. So that's not talking him down. They just don't have the class in the midfield. There's Taranto, as you said, 150 games. Now, he's another, well, his nickname's the Bull, isn't it? Him and Hopper were brought to the club to try and keep this era going. It looks like it's a bridge too far for them to keep the era going, quite frankly, as we know. But they're still got 100 to 150 games of football left in them. So there's your platform that you can build on and say, right, let's supplant, put in these players, X, Y, Z, who have these traits around them.
It's all about building a winning culture. It's even looking forward to the next season, these final few rounds. For the 14th place St Kilda, the 18th placed Richmond, precious 4 points up for grabs for these two teams. And Rioli and Bradley Hill, beautiful shake of hands, acknowledgement and a smile.
The brotherhood, the brothers.
They will go to town on each other, won't they? We're all set.
I'll see you at the end of the game.
Round 22 under the closed roof at Marvel Stadium.
The umpire will slam it into the turf and get us underway. Slightly askew. Marshall the tap down, and he soccers St Kilda inside 50. Miller in front, knocked it away from Membry. Rioli's out after it. Banks there with him. Rioli paddles, can't pick up. It's taken by Battle in the pack. It spills back to him. His hand pass towards Membry, used the body. At the back, Trezise to Hopper, caught by Jones. That pass to Taranto, out wide to Broad. Broad uses his left, goes towards the wing, over the head of Hunter Clark, picked up by Sinclair. Sinclair's hand pass stolen by Banks of the Tigers.
Banks able to go, got the give and go back from Nankervis. Going back inside 50 here. Fly by Bolton, couldn't win it, could spoil it, was too effective. Battle, tidies it up, Sinclair mauled.
Did a good job, Dougal. Howard left his man just coming up. Shea Bolton was going to take an uncontested mark, but Howard pressed up and effected the spoil.
Marshall knocks it towards the boundary line. Taranto keeps it alive dangerously for the Saints because this man has it in hands and he's very capable from anywhere on the ground. Bolton, Howard just corralled there. He was on that occasion by Ryan, who's back into this Richmond side, and the nice ball finds Owens.
Just the big ruckman didn't want to get stepped there, so he corralled and just took that little bit of pressure off. Easy find Owens.
Howard tries the other side, and Wilkie, the ever dependable Cal Wilkie, very short with his pass to Steele. Wilkie points for him to go long, but goes to Hill. So Hill drives the ball up towards the half-forward flank. Over the top, Bolter smacks it into the middle. Mansell there, runs into Wanganeen-Milera. Graham Taranto, good vision out wide. And can Banks set up?
Short little ball as they move forward with some fluency here. Skillera, Sharman, been impressive Sharman. Jones running into trouble. Gee, just got rid of it in the nick of time. Some would doubt that he did. By tackle in the end. Will go the way of the Tigers here. Hopper looking for the lead here. Just jumping in front was the former Blue.
The right idea, tried to lower the ice to Shea Bolton. Lots of St Kilda numbers back there. They're going to have to do that all day, the Tigers. Lower the ice.
Mason Wood now. Over the top to Owens. Remember, he wanted it, didn't get it. So just whacks for a moment. Owens now looking to chip towards Marshall, and Marshall was always going to be covered then, but the front centre was good from Owens. Handball interception here by Floston. They're away, the Tigers.
McIntosh, he's caught by Wanganeen-Milera and dropped it. Messiah Wanganeen-Milera. Stepped off the mark. Casually goes to battle. Goes for a bit of a dash. Sends the Saints towards half forward. Nankervis best placed on Marshall, but couldn't take it. Underneath it, Owens. Little fumble, ducked underneath Nankervis. Still got taken high. Player to advantage. Jones to Clark. Clark inside 50, and Sharman marks.
It's a really nice kick from Clark. He just drew Sharman onto the ball. Sharman didn't have a lot of separation, but the kick just took him to where the footy was going. Just see there, just no body contact, and just the step from Sharman. Really liked his last few weeks. Sharman's looked more and more natural as a leading up forward, so good start from him.
He was goalless against Brisbane, but a very tough day for the Saints. He kicked multiple goals in his 4 games prior in each of them. Sharman for the first. Just gets it through. So Cooper Sharman with the opener for St Kilda. His 15th goal of the season. He's starting to emerge, as Joe mentioned.
And Richmond just play on from the St Kilda play on from the free kick here, and Sharman comes onto the ball. It'll be interesting to keep watching the connection that they go inside their 50 today, because it's where they've been breaking down a little bit without Max King down there. They need to find different avenues to goal.
Cooper Sharman, as you say, has been getting better and better. Shows a lot of natural forward instincts. There's Hopper out the back door to Banks. Very, very wide ball for Campbell. In the end, got himself into trouble. Hopper again involved in the process here. And Campbell inside 50. Good ball. Kaczynski made the push against Wilkie. Well within range.
Why did Muzo be pleased with that ball movement further up the field? They got the ball, that forward handball, run and carry, use the options, take space, gives you a better opportunity to get the ball into the forwards than a one-on-one and get it favoured side. Better ball movement from Richmond.
Difficult kick here. Kaczynski right up against the boundary line. Nice try, though, just off to the left. Struck it beautifully.
Now the challenge here is for the Tigers to get these repeat inside 50s. This is what we heard Taranto speak about before the game. Can they lock it in, have their defence intact?
Sinclair to Howard, back to Sinclair. Best and fairest of the last couple of years. Back to Wood. McIntosh spoils it away from him.
And that's a good start there, Al. The challenge of just trying to take the ball off them as soon as they possibly can. Now 80 metres they are set up. Big Nanks has been doing some great work around here, so win the clearance numbers from here.
So Dow is watching Taranto closely at this stoppage as it's knocked down by Marshall. Dow takes it. Gave to Steele, to Stocker, to Wood. Spirals one around the wing. Bolter used his body on Sharman, couldn't mark Grove by Short. Short. Back to the wing. Mansell sliding in, couldn't cling on. Steele underneath, got it out to Sinclair to Hill. Hill a hand pass to Marshall. Marshall under pressure, end over end, goes towards Butler. Premiership winning Tiger. Membry. Burns, Borks, cuts through them. Membry gets a look and bends it back for a brilliant goal. Saints get the first two to Membry, and in good touch. Nice play from the Saints. They were able to open up Richmond there in convincing fashion. Burns with the nice evasion at the top of the 50. And Membry a fine finish.
Big focus for the Saints to get the ball back through the corridor. They've got even numbers in their forward line, and then Membry and Burns, really clever play here. Just got the defender off his feet into the air, and the 1-2 with Membry, and a really sharp finish from Membry. Good start from the Saints.
You enjoyed that little setup. Nice creativity at the forward end for the Saints. And Curvis trying to drop it at his feet, did pretty well in the end. Now Taranto to get on the end of it and go with a long ball in the Kazitsky direction. Out the back door for Ralph Smith, couldn't control it. Battle had to be swift with the handball, and he was. Dow of St Kilda, short on Butler. Coming back, Bolter. Had to get rid of the Dan Butler attempt. Little low ball. Once again picked up by Campbell inside 50. Tigers one out down there at the moment. Kazitsky, did he get boot to ball? Josh Battle says it was touched. Goal umpire does not agree. It will be reviewed as a matter of all goals that are kicked. As it goes back to the centre, they'll have a quick look, and one way or another we'll get a decision. But right now it's a goal.
The Tigers have been devastated out of this set of bouts to early in this game, but it was Campbell's pickup, and he's been growing week by week down there across the half-forward line, running through the midfield, and Kazitsky making something of nothing down in the goal square. Reviewed, goal.
And we're back underway. Marshall down to Steele, took contact. Thompson Dow flicked it out. Banks to Nankervis. Back to Short. Short wants to come in field. Rioli has a very good look at things. Goes to Flostone. He's told to go. His kick's not a great one. Battle comes out. Now needs to be a bit careful there. Battle to Sinclair. He has time to clean up the errant kick and finds Wood.
An interesting topic for the day, Joel, as well, is the connection between the mids and the Richmond forwards. A young group of forwards down there too. Just caught flat-footed there on that occasion.
Wood, Membry trying to come from 3 deep. Moved up there by Graham. Handball and Hope. Campbell again getting plenty of footy. Graham, Broad, all involved. Tigers share it around. Jaden Short, one of their designated hitters, to Broad. Good crowd here, surprising crowd here on Sunday afternoon for a game that has no effect on the 8. Really impressive.
This is the connection piece that you're talking about, Job. So the build-up is slow at the moment just because there's so many St Kilda numbers back there. The challenge is not to give it back to them.
1 footy in it goes. Over the top, that was Sharman trying to spoil. Taranto out the back. Ralph Smith, deliberate along the ground runner. Impressive. Nice work from the Tigers, because as Joel said, every player on the ground was just about inside there. Wasn't a lot of space.
just when it's like that, BT, just to become predictable, kick it to the contest and then get the numbers there.
It was a really good contest, and the key to it was they had representation in the air and at ground level, as you talked about, Joel, and it's okay to just take territory sometimes as long as you've got numbers there who can compete both in the air and you're not getting intercept marks. And really clever finish from Nate Smith there.
So a goal against the club his dad played 30 games for. Sean Ralph Smith, his son Hugo, out there for the Tigers. As Burns gets the clearance for St Kilda through the hands of Flostone. Miller under pressure from Higgins. He can win it here. Trezise, Hopper, short, Broad. Gets it clear towards defensive 50. It was a strong contest from all angles. Mansell went hard at it. Membry back in field finds Paddy Dow, and his brother will stand the mark.
Been a good contest so far from both teams. Richmond's been impressed with their leg speed at ground level, but the Saints are matching them as well. A couple of good pieces of play by Membry, just thought his way through the situation really well, but it's been a good start to this game. Good standard of footy.
What do you reckon his brother will say to him on the mark? Chewy on your boot or something more
Few words
personal?
of encouragement.
Play on.
He'd have a few secrets up his sleeve, BT. And Paddy Dow can't have the last laugh.
Move behind the blue dot.
Glad to see Paddy Dow back in this side. I think that he's got really something to give this St Kilda side. He's got good leg speed, but he's really great at cross in the contest and getting out of it. Something that, when you look at him, some of the other midfielders don't have.
Just joined us. Filippo was a late withdrawal, and that's why Paddy Dow is playing today. He was listed as an emergency. As Membry. A very oiled-up Rioli, I might add. He's looking very shiny today. Here's Daniel Rioli. Look, no one can tackle him. He's as slippery as an eel. Long ball inside 50 off hands.
You're right, BT. They had all sorts of problems trying to get hold of him.
They used 3 litres on him.
He had the mouth guard half hanging out of his mouth. Look at him.
Look at that. Great concentration to stay over top of the ball from Rioli.
Just for those kids watching at home, that is not how you would typically install a mouth guard.
Waiting for the blood rule here, I think. Is it Marshall coming off? No, it's not.
Angus McLennan.
Yeah.
Ross is just making sure everything's in order.
Ready? Samson and Anthony. Hold that meter.
Tigers in attack. Scores level. Graham wins it. Tackled by Dow.
High ball pinned. Come through, mate. Get it down. It's going this way. Rux. Anthony Samson. Well.
First names for the ups today. Clark gets it clear towards the wing. Broad couldn't take it. Miller. Here's Rioli. Mouth guard in this time. Broad gives it back to him. He couldn't take the mark. Taranto there. Just that perceived pressure, but Taranto gave it up to Wanganeen-Milera, who has time to go to a stationary position. Missed the target of Battle. Battle's taken front on. And a Saints free kick.
So Battle just rails it out to Sinclair. He's got a ton of time to make his decision.
Stand. Play on.
Wanganeen-Milera has had a really good year. Sinclair, we know about his consistency over a period of time now. Jack Higgins here. Inside 50, good-looking kick to Owens. Lovely kick from Higgins. And Owens has got a shot that he should be able to make good of. Run around on the right boot, pretty stock standard these days for players of this magnitude. For the Saints third, no problems. Something about Owens, he's Definitely got that little bit of X factor about him.
Slow start to the year, Owens, but he's gotten better as the season's gone on.
You see the Saints take the ball off the half-back line, getting it into the hands of the ball users. Wilkie cops a little one there to go on with, but Mason Wood had no error here in his kick. Found Owens in a perfect position. And as you said, BT, not many players have trouble with that around-the-body kick anymore.
And Curvis in front, Taranto underneath to Bolton. Bolton gets it moving forward. Crucial hand in there, though, from Wilson, and he wins possession. He broke it up and won it. Clark. Marshall goes in the Higgins direction. Butler there as well. A couple of former Tigers combined. Butler, though, is caught by Bolter. Turned over to Banks. Broad. Happy enough to walk it over under the pressure.
Have a look at the fall here from McIntosh. Ball nowhere near him. Strange things happening today. We've got the eel on one side, we've got McIntosh on this side, no one coming at him. He looked, I don't know what he looked like, but it did look strange.
A bit of breakdancing there, BT.
It is.
Topical at the moment.
My word.
So Richmond ball here, says the umpire. Zach Jones says, what about me? I was held by the collar. And he is in disbelief.
Angus McLennan ready to come back on. He's got the Joel Selwood look upon him. He's got the strapping right around his forehead.
Yep.
Someone had to keep him in business, Jono.
How many times did you dress up like that, Joel? It's amazing. The old white headband, Stocker. Kept it rolling here, the Tigers, but they won't end up with it. Wilkie's too smart for that. Hill and Wanganeen-Milera try and dissect a way out of the back end. Sinclair. Battle. Burns.
Stand.
So the Saints, a little bit of control here at the moment. 3 goals to 2. Burns to centre half forward. Very high ball. Nankervis got back. Floston was there as well. Zach Jones, the tough tackle. Little handball comes out and Tigers Tresize.
So now they're away on the outer wing. Closed down was Banks, but got it to Taranto, to Broad, who gets away from Butler. Back to Banks. He's confronted. Gives it back to Broad. Tresize, good kick. Mansell kicks it deep. Ryan, and that is a superb mark by Bauer in front. He did not look the likely option there.
That was a really good job on the wing to get themselves out of a sticky situation. St Kilda had them cold and they just worked their way through it, found the free, kept the ball moving forward. Really clever from the Richmond players, and then get it into a really good spot. They had the outnumber at the air and a great mark, but really well done on the wing to get the ball into that situation.
You just love when a kid hasn't had something coached out of him. You just love it when they go and get the ball, put their name on it, and here he comes.
So Bauer, can he cap off a fine mark with a tidy finish? He levels things up again. So 3-1 apiece at Marvel Stadium. Bauer gets his first goal of the season and his first game of the season.
And this is the importance of the modern game, is being able to kick the ball under real duress and density and not give it up when you're feeling the pressure, so that you can get it to the outside and get it to where your numbers are. And Richmond had the advantage there, a 3v2 in the air, because they were able to work their way through the outnumber on the wing. Really well done from the Tigers midfield.
Bauer coming in, of course. There's been a lot of injuries at the Tigers, so a lot of opportunities down there. In fact, only one player in the team, Daniel Rioli, has played every game for the Tigers this year. That is highly unusual. There is Bolton. Will he or won't be there next year? There's the slippery one. Graham, lovely. Stocker made him earn it, though. Little overlap run here from short. Could have gone wide to Kazitsky. It goes back inside. Banks becoming prominent. Graham eventually wide, and Kazitsky was always sitting there Wilkie was prepared to give him that one out wide. Goes inboard and looking for the opportunity here with Ryan. Dougal Howard had him all tied up.
Just got to stay patient there, the Tigers. It's probably not the kick that you want to go to. Short on top of the 50 where the Saints can bounce back the other way so quickly.
Now Curvis goes to ground. Hopper gets it, gives to Banks, another possession. Not 15, the up and under. Bauer flies at it, gets to the back. Bolton tries to cut through them. He broke the tackles, but he didn't get away a second time as Battle pinged him. Not sure what he's questioning there.
Needed some oil on him, Al.
Yes, not slippery enough.
There's none left. Daniel's got it all.
Just jumped in a bath full of it.
Oh, I saw he had 4 trainers, one on each limb, pouring a litre on each limb, Daniel Rioli. And there where he was being oiled up, that bit of grass will be dead.
Hopefully he's not using the good olive oil.
The price is expensive. Yeah, that's true, Joe.
Wilkie, very, very high ball. Caminiti out the back, broad. Shot the fireball, handball. Little give and go here from Daniel Rioli. Now they just ease it out. Tresize. Here it just on the back end of the circle, as you can see.
Very conscious about not blazing and giving the ball away, Joel, aren't they? They really want to keep possession of it if they can, the Tigers.
Yeah, so here we can see the Richmond forwards, like they're 100 metres back. We need to bring them up to 60 metres away from it so can try and get some numbers over the back.
Very much trying to get it into the hands of the guys they know can kick it well, like Short. Down the line here, Taranto under some pressure. Was it Graham? There it was.
This is where you want to avoid turning the ball over in your half-back line.
Wilkie's told to go. Wood, Owens, well judged. There's a glance inside. Jones was there, but too much Richmond activity. So it continues on the line. All the big boys are there. At the back was Wood, immediately sat on.
Saints kick the first 2 goals. Tom Lynch and Liam Baker watching on. Richmond's best where they want them to be. So the Tigers through Miller. Mansell uses his left to go to Kosicki. Howard back with a flight. Wilkie. Howard. And Wilson sweeps it to Jones. His hand pass, he was taken after he got rid of it. McLennan to Burns. Burns to Hill. Trying to work their way through them by hand. McLennan. Wilson. Wilson now uses his right foot towards Membry. Hill slapped it forward. Burns a tumble punt. And Bolter gets in the road.
He does get some meterage, but it's going to come back. Jones sends it straight back from where it came, and good momentum made to the ball there by Caminiti. Back inside, gee, that's a good kick. Marshall.
He did a good job there, Marshall, but he'd be disappointed, Nankervis. He was outnumbered, Marshall, 2-1 in Richmond's favour, and just have a look at this. Jones hit, just got a little bit high there, and he slipped at the wrong time. Yeah, over the shoulder. No malice in that. But Marshall did a good job, led up at the kicker. Jones a bit sore after that one, though.
Back for a long run up here, Rowan Marshall. Saints searching for their 4th. Distance not a problem. Boils down to that accuracy. That looks pretty good as well. So Marshall does the job. Saints back out to that 6-point lead. That was a beautiful connection in that kick from Rowan Marshall. Didn't try and overkick the footy. And the timing was superb.
That from outside 50, and it went through at least half post height.
Ball movement from the Saints coming pretty quick, Jones. Caminiti just dropped the eyes, and there it is. We're wondering how St Kilda were going to get inside 50. with their numbers being so defensively minded, you've got to find those small ones that are popping up here, there and everywhere out of the rabbit holes today.
Double Cobra, and now back to battle with Nankervis, who knocked it down beautifully to Taranto. Gave to Bolton, pumps it long in the Kazitsky direction. The spoil came from Wilkie, holding on, free kick, and it will go Wilkie's way.
No, yours. Stop. It's yours. No, before you have possession. Go through. Yep. Stand there.
Wanganeen-Milera is going to receive it.
Stand, time back on. Play on.
He's not sure what to do. Jones presents for him.
Outside 5. You, mate.
Goes to a leading Marshall.
Stand. You.
Marshall just short to Wanganeen-Milera. Near the footy already. 7th touch for him. Not uncertain here on that outer wing. Driving ball now. Good mark, Henry. So Wilson's deep. Mason Wood's there as well. He can mark. Wood signalling he wants it to the top of the square. That's exactly where it goes, but Wood was caught 3 or 4 deep, and Nankervis read it well. Really well.
Maybe Max Gawn's the only better ruckman that gets back in the hole and marks the ball as well as what Nankervis does.
Skill error from Trezise results in the boundary throw-in. Back to where it came from. Muse's up the back. Chris Newman and Jack Siebel down the front. He's nice and discreet up there. The Tigers coach watching on with intent. Steele roves it to full forward through the hands of Caminiti. Owens, Butler against his former mob. He misses the lot. I'm sure a word or two being exchanged out there as Ward brings it in. BT's well-lacquered man.
Starting to soak into his skin now. You can't really see the shininess.
Lucky it's quarter time, BT. If they've got any left, they can be reapplied. So St Kilda with a little buffer at the break. 4-1-25 the Saints. Richmond 3-1-19 Sunday footy from Marvel.
You're watching Sunday Ticket on Fox.
Well, for the very first time in season 2024, after losing their first 5 games of the season, the Hawthorn Football Club is in the 8 at round 22, a 74-point thumping of the Blues. Carlton is unravelling. That is one story. The Hawks are absolutely soaring. That is another story. And Brad Johnson, they cannot be displaced out of the 8 by the end of tonight. So it's taken them 22 rounds with 2 to go against West Coast and St Kilda. Will they be there in a fortnight?
Their form has been awesome. It really has. They're great to watch. From the second quarter today, their second quarter set this game apart today. And in the end, they have 32 shots to 13. So dominated the Blues, as you can see, and now they jumped them. They go from 104 to 108% today, the Hawks, and Carlton dropped from 112 down to 107. So a huge shift in percentage for the Hawks, and as you can see, they need to have that aspect right as well as they continue to build to try and play finals footy this year.
A couple of big injuries as well. The main one was, well, he was the Coleman medal leader a couple of weeks ago in Charlie Curnow limping off with an ankle injury. Didn't come back on, so that will be the big story this week. Across town at Marvel Stadium, it's the Saints with a 6-point lead over the Tigers at quarter time. And the Saints started pretty well. They kicked the first 2, Jono. Yeah,
they did. They did it in a couple of ways as well. I like the pressure to win the ball back and then get that run and drive from the back as well, marginally involved. Quick kick forward, but they just keep fighting this out. One-on-one battles, not to allow Richmond to go back and mark, intercept and turn the ball back the other way. Great step there inside Membry, nice finish. So that was one to kickstart the Sainers inside forward 50. And this is the other way too. Run off half back, Sinclair with the overlap. And Higgins had to keep this one rolling. He does to Wood on the outside onto his left foot because Owens had slid really well on the fat side to get into the goal square by himself. Easy snap goal. But it was a great first quarter.
Yep.
High energy from both teams. Richmond as well had their opportunities to score.
Both these teams looking to finish season 2024 with a little bit of momentum. So we're not too far away from the bounce to start the second quarter. It's a 6-point lead to the Saints, 4-1-25 to 3-1-19. Hugo Ralph-Smith dribbled a nice little...
That was a good finish, Carl.
A goal through, didn't he? It was one of the highlights in that first quarter. Yep. But players taking their positions for this one. Of course, the Tigers looking to get off the bottom of the ladder in these last couple of weeks, currently sitting 18th. Here we go with the second term.
Just on that, Al, do you reckon he gets extra busy around June, Cal? He just feels swamped.
We'll have to look at the statistics to see whether his one-on-ones drop off at that time of year under the heavy workload. I think the accounting days might be well and truly over. Now Curvis, Taranto. Banks has started this game well. Goes towards Bolton in the pocket. Here's Wilkie back with the flights. Really want him doing your tax return. I don't think you get many discounts. He'd be claiming everything from you. Now there is just the example of that durability as well. So this is longest streak since debut at your first club. Jared Croucher, runaway leader.
It's just rock solid, isn't he? Colin Wilkie. One of those leaders you'd like to tuck a young kid under his arm, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. I think as many you can bring along, the better.
Is he the sort of player that St Kilda need to look at to bring along a few of these young guys?
Yeah, I think so. Across his back line, definitely. But even you think of Winhager and Owens and Darcy Wilson, taking them to the next level. Wilkie's a really good one.
Marshall, high footy at the back door. Those are the fumbles from Eldon involved there, and the slippery one gets in and under. Daniel Rioli.
I think Marshall, Sinclair are also players that can also help out Steele in doing that.
How important to have players like that, Joel, that can almost put an arm around players. We'll come back to you in a moment, so you've got time to answer that. Short, put an arm around them, nurse them through the process. Wanganeen-Milera there with a bit of a blind fist. Out wide, Mason Wood being tied up there. Ball eventually goes over the line.
Yeah, well, it just gets to a stage, BT, where you can improve yourself so much, but you need the help around you too. So for those players to be able to know that their job is that within this side is really crucial for Saints to go to the next level.
Tigers in attack. Marshall booted it into Bolton, and Curvis, hand pass stolen by Hill to Sinclair. Clean take from Caminiti, but not a good hand pass. Got it back to Membry, to Dow, who spins through the traffic. Brilliantly done. Up towards Owens, one-on-one with Flostone, who gets to the back and can repel for the Tigers. It's a dangerous-looking kick through the hands of Campbell. Dow gets it again. Caminiti searching. Caught one in the face. Wood takes the advantage, goes to the pocket towards Owens, and it skids by him. So, a bit of chat there from the umpires, but there will be a boundary throw-in.
Bolter asking what for.
Caminiti rubbing his nose. No, I can tell you.
Oh, they're great actors. It's fantastic to watch sometimes. It's Clark stripped of the ball. Banks involved again, and he's becoming more prominent in this Richmond side over the last few weeks. Rioli now. And half-back, Daniel Rioli. For me, as a Tiger, he's probably, if I am letting a couple go for the Tigers, this is the one I'm going to retain. Daniel Rioli. That was, in fact... Tigers here now with Battle. Over the logo. High footy inside 50. Sharman tries to grab it from behind. Higgins fast hands. Clark, Dow. In is Mansfield.
pressure there from Taranto. He closed the space really quickly, just didn't allow that shot on goal. The Saints were setting up for it, but Taranto, good defensive work from a mid.
Marshall down to Owens, back to Marshall, squeezes a kick through, but Bolter.
Stay outside, forward.
Intercept mark for the Tigers goes to McIntosh. Can't hang on.
They've actually closed the space really well today, Joe.
Yep. It's a real arm wrestle, isn't it, around the ground? Both teams defensively doing a good job, playing with good intensity around the ball, closing space, as you talked about, Joel. So it is a tight contest, hard to get easy stats.
Taranto's toe poke, pinched by Clark, who gives to Sinclair, kicks towards Membry, tries to pull it in one-handed, does manage to keep it in to Dow, a sidestep, goes for goal, Paddy Dow! That's one of his best ever. He's had some good moments. The late inclusion for Mateus Filippo. And Paddy Dow, first the evasion, then the finishing skills to go with it. Superb goal. First of this second quarter.
No one to meet him on the bench when he came off.
Paddy Dow gets his moment here, and it's a nice sidestep, something that we've come to know that he's so good at too, but the finish, the polish that he's shown there is something that we want to see more of. Paddy Dow in this side.
The interesting thing for me with Paddy Dow, then, that's a moment of excitement for him and motivation. He came straight off the ground thinking someone might actually meet him on the bench. I think there was one person that gave him a high five and then nothing after that. Talk about a moment that could be motivating for him, all of a sudden becoming a little bit, you know, blasé. Yeah, high footy. I guess the game's got to be won is the players' attitude out there. Here's Prestia. Ralph Smith trying to get it to bend around the corner. Got a bit too much bend on it. And battle. Sinclair. Very cool, the footy. Ran a fair way. Sharman trying to edge Bolter under the footy. Did a pretty good job to spoil in the end.
He does seem like that player too. We speak of Paddy Dow, BT, that needs a little bit of that love. Second chance at a club.
Needs to feel he belongs, doesn't he?
Bit of love, doesn't hurt. A few cuddles.
Can't imagine you being much of a cuddler, Joel. But
plenty of cuddles. Not sure if Ross is giving many out, but
he's more cuddly than he used to be.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing that you were talking about earlier, Joel, is Ross has obviously come in and driven the standards, but for this team, for it to be sustainable and for the team to evolve, it's going to have to come from the players. Those standards over this pre-season about bringing other players with you, and that's going to be the challenge for this leadership group with the Saints.
Burns broke through very well. Sinclair sliding in Jones.
Stand.
Burns again.
Yeah, it's a big part of it. You just want the coaches to coach, Job, and the players can take over all those little things that they need to drive throughout the week, throughout the pre-season that's going to come up.
So Zach Jones rewarded for his work rate, but McIntosh spoils. Steele back to Burns. Clark, a well-weighted pass to him. Hills at the top of the 50. Butler the target. He's pulled off it by Hopper. Bolter's kick smothered by Clark, but he knocks it on. Maybe Graham's in the frame. Burns did well, though. Clark along the deck. Butler tries the sidestep. Legs almost taken by Noah Bolter. Another underground hand pass from Clark. Butler again. Hill puts on the accelerator. Kicks them inside the 50. Uncontested. Mason Wood up to mark. Chance to kick a third goal in a row for the Saints. Yes.
There's a reason why Dan Butler sort of stood there and looked at the umpire. That's a clear-cut trip. A good stretch by Mason Wood.
Is it any more than a trip?
I think the tribunal will be looking at it, yeah.
So Mason Wood. His kick is a little away to the left and slamming into the woodwork.
Been impressed with Burns on a couple of occasions today. Joel, he won a big contest there on the wing. A nice elusive play in the first quarter, but he showed some really good signs today.
some good ball use off the half-back line, nice and quick with what he's got with his leg speed too. He really can challenge the defence. They look at those players from that half-back line. He's one of them.
Floston it high and long on the head of Kazitsky. A little bit too deep for him. Marshall at front. Wilson squirted out the little handball here to Marshall. Beautiful little kick from Marshall. Finds an opportunity with Dow. Men's Dow now inside 50. Membry loves the double foot leap. Straight up basketball style, Membry.
Yeah, he does, and he's been good so far today. He's had a real involvement, 3 scoring assists. He's already kicked a goal, and here just judged the flight of the ball really well. Loston, you can see him just guarding space in front of him and then not quick enough to come back. He's hoping for the Richmond defender to come over the top and close the space, but when you don't have a lot of time playing with each other, those idiosyncrasies aren't so quick to adapt.
Comfortable distance here for Tim Membry. There's the angle. Pretty good looking kick. Very nice. Gets his second.
It's a better start in and around the ball by the Saints to start this second quarter, but Paddy Dow with the 6th possession of the quarter goes inside, and Tim Membry takes a nice mark. Well, he's done on so many occasions. In really good form, Tim Membry, Al, and what he's been able to do.
Yeah, he absolutely is. His accuracy's been a real feature this season. Dow goes after it. Hopper there as well. Steele knocked it back. Jones emerges. Kicks them back inside the 50 towards Higgins. And he's just thrown out of the way, and Trezise takes an excellent mark. So strong back there.
Yeah, it's a really good contested mark from the youngster. Saints starting to dominate the uncontested possessions, 31-12 in this quarter, getting their hands on the ball.
Yeah, Curvis turns it over straight to McLennan.
And that's that connection that we talked about with midfield forward. You've got some young players in your Richmond forward line. They're not as adept at reading cues quickly.
Oh boy, still couldn't get his hands under that. Picked up here by Campbell. Campbell goes out wide, so the Tigers marching on here. Nice ball brought back into Taranto. It was really well done by Mansell. And Taranto, as a result, has this kick.
That's the line, thank you. Mark's here.
That Trezise mark there, but that's what Richmond had to do, and that's what they talked about before the game, is sweating on those turnovers, those forward half turnovers, because then players are free. And not for the first time today, Campbell's lowered the eyes and found the free. Smart play from him.
Just their second mark inside 50 today for the Tigers. Tim Taranto needs to make the most of this opportunity. Saints feel like just getting on top here with a little lead at the moment. 18 points, 3 goals.
Obviously missing Tom Lynch down there, so those midfielders do need to jump into those spots, make sure that they're really pushing forward to bob up for those marks.
Sinclair to Howard. Wanganeen-Milera.
Stand there.
McLennan on short.
So inside 5, play on.
Looks to the outer side of the ground to the pack. The hands of Broad. Membry gets it moving St Kilda's way again. Sharman up in front. Good mark.
That's a great mark. Great leap. You really like this athleticism, his athletic profile, and then being able to take the ball at its highest point. Not easy to do when you've got a defender right on you, and Tim Membry involved again. We just see here 7-2 marks inside 50, but good concentration as well and good movement, and he is really coming of age as a third forward. Sharman.
Look at his second goal here to make the margin 4 goals St Kilda's way. That is a beautiful right foot drop punt. He's enjoying himself as he emerges in the competition, Cooper Sharman. So 2 today. He's been kicking multiples regularly of late. And the break now with St Kilda. They have kicked the last 4 goals of this contest, led by 6 at quarter time, and the margin now 24.
Sharman is a player that's really coming of age. You go back a couple of weeks and he got the 10 coaches' votes against Essendon. Jumping here against Miller too, who did a great job on Charlie Curnow only a couple of weeks back. So it's no easy opponent and puts it straight through. It's the reaction that the Saints fans want.
So 3 in a row now for the Saints. Cameron James with a nice bounce. Taranto with the clearance. Demanding the footy was Hopper. Had to get around one, confronted by another. Now Ryan, not so good. One out wide here, Graham. To swoop on the footy. So the Tigers steady. Kick's not great inside and battle. Thought about Owens. Realised he probably didn't have the depth in the kick to get that far. Geez, that is close. That looked like it was out of bounds in the full to me, but tight one for the boundary umpire to call. I get it. Wilkie back to Dougal Howard. And now Wilkie again. McLennan.
Richmond doing a good job at the clearances. I'd love to see them just take the ball forward straight away rather than over-possessing it and going sideways. St Kilda are so good at defaulting back, getting back and outnumbering. I reckon Richmond can be more aggressive with their ball movement out of the centre.
This late contact here resulting in a 50-metre penalty. That seems a very harsh call. Marshall finds Hill. Hill's kick is smothered. Banks having perhaps his best game as a Tiger. Mansell. Crowd yell 50. Kazitsky waits for players to present for him. Ryan is one of those. Bauer and Ralph Smith are deep. Short pass initially to Banks. For possession, number 16. His career high is 18. Not even at half-time. So he goes towards the hot spot. Wanganeen-Milera over the back, didn't take it. Clark is met by Mansell. Wilkie, battle, Wanganeen-Milera on the last line, finds Higgins.
Looking a little dangerously here.
There's 52 to 28 uncontested marks for the game, so Richmond just aren't able to stop this ball movement for St Kilda.
Lovely handball by Dow to Hill. Hill's kick equally creative. Draws the free to Caminiti. Just a little bit of panic there from the Tigers.
Joel, it's really difficult to create good turnovers when you're allowing so many uncontested marks like that, and we know Richmond are trying to create forward half turnovers, but they're going to have to get tighter so that St Kilda just can't create chains like that.
Yeah, and it's starting right back from defence too, Joe. The marks that are just wearing out those forwards. So as the game goes on, it will break up even more. So got to defend a little bit higher.
Got to be sure he gets the distance covered here from kicking right on the 50. It's on line. Good-looking ball, just drifts in its last few moments. Just looking at Ross Lyon today. Coaching his 350th game today, Ross Lyon. The 18th person to achieve 350-plus games. That's amazing. So we judge coaches harshly. He's had 15 seasons in the big time. And on the American standards, that's 10. He's had 10 of 15 winning seasons. That is, he's won more games than he's lost.
Yeah.
Not everyone can win the premiership. You can still have a good result with perhaps an average team.
I think they probably overachieved last year, and that was the Ross bump. But I feel like they're starting to build a chemistry and a style of play, and he is the right man to lead them, I believe, coming into the next few years with this group.
Rioli sends Richmond to the wing. Off hands McLennan, the second game at a Dow to Clark. Good vision and good skill. Releasing Battle. His kick favours Broad. forward to Flostone.
Outside 5, Jack, let him run.
And he sends a low, hard kick to the back flank for Rioli.
So Rioli, little one here to Graham.
Play on.
And centering ball to Hopper.
That's better ball movement from Richmond.
And now McIntosh. Little left footer around the corner, and they get a shot at goal from 50 if they want it. And looks like he's going to settle on it, Dow. No. Inside to McIntosh. He'll settle on the set shot. Camden McIntosh.
Camden, that's the line right there. Mark's here.
Tough from there. Love the build-up, though. Take it outside 50, bring it across the ground with speed. Marking the ball along the way, so making sure that St Kilda's working the other way.
This is most kicks here left to right, regardless of what you do. Personally, the slider. Let's see whether McIntosh can counter that. And he allows for it too much.
Taking the ball off the line in that half-back line, Joel, opened up the other side of the ground, and it looked much better for Richmond, didn't it? That's how they're going to break down the St Kilda zone. And they're folding back for the Saints. They're going to have to be a bit braver with the ball by foot.
Yeah, well, you just don't have that Tom Lynch
presence down the line, do you?
Down the line, so the challenge is how they can bring it back through. So it was Rioli and Graham challenging the St Kilda defence on the way through.
Battles hand pass to Hill. Hill to half forward. Higgins in front. Broad there to make the spoil.
And often the older players are more decisive and they'll go quickly because those gaps aren't there for very long. If you look, you hesitate, you look again, it's gone. So you need some conviction with your ball movement, particularly off halfback, so you can utilise the middle and the other side of the ground.
And Curvis and Marshall glance at one another, then engage. And Curvis pulled down. So there are the two subs this afternoon. On the left, Caleb Smith and Jimmy Webster on the right. Back towards the boundary. Hopper there first, tried to get it to Banks, but closed down by Hill. And another stoppage is the result.
Rowan, Toby.
There he is. Ross Lyon. We do judge our coaches very harshly in this sport. Ross trying to get the job done. He's got a fair bit of building and progress to make here with this Saints model. There's 6 players, I think, have played every game in the side here today. So he's had a lot of battle with injury like many clubs have this year. Graham. Beautiful pick-up by Daniel Rioli. Back to Graham. Centering ball here. Wanganeen-Milera. Free kick will be paid. Bit of a Bronxy there. And Bauer, who kicked a nice goal in the first quarter. He thinks within his range.
Not too much wind in here, I don't think, today.
Jacob Bauer, looks like he's got a nice process going. Can he get this online? Gee, he's got some length in his kick. It's just a one-step hoof. Two disposals, 2 goals for Bauer.
They kicked their last goal too, BT, which was at the 20-minute mark of the first quarter, so it was a timely one for the Tigers.
BT, you're the resident goal kicker here. You like this, what you're seeing here?
He's very relaxed. It looks like it's a process-driven run-up, but on that particular kick, it looked like he was really wondering about the distance, so he gave it a little bit more than perhaps he would if he was from 35. But it did look organised, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Nice fluid kicking motion and kicked through the ball.
Clark set upon. Jones bounced up off the chest of Steele, flicked on by Sinclair. Marshall's forward hand pass. Look at that conviction coming the other way. Trezise wanted it most. The kicking in danger, free kick going the way of the Saints. And Jones will have it for them. Bolton, the offender. Short option, Sinclair.
Stand. Well.
He's got Stocker. And Stocker in short to Hunter Clark. It was pretty poor marking.
It was, wasn't it? The two Richmond players both left. Hunter Clark, Stocker. They only needed one to go. It wasn't great communication between the Richmond defenders there, which made it a really easy kick for Stocker to be able to hit Clark short.
So good afternoon so far for Hunter Clark. Perhaps a goal here before half-time. Starts at left. Doesn't have a lot on it, that kick, and helped through.
And that's a good example of perhaps someone not being prepared with a set shot process. Didn't look like he'd done it very often.
No, I mean, I said before about throwing the grass up in here, but that's the process driven that Hunter Clark may not have. He's one player that I think can give St Kilda a bit more going forward. I just don't know if we see enough grunt in him, and maybe he's not that sort of player, but he needs to get his hands on it a lot more than what he does, and today he's having that day. Hopefully he can keep building on that.
Here's Rioli. Beautiful long ball down the side there, off hands. Tackle was excellent by Owens. Pounced on Banks, I think it was.
Yeah, it's great defensive forward work from Owens. You love that work rate, and that's why they demand from that position to get up the ground and be part of the defensive part of the game, and then work really hard forward when the ball turns over.
Sinclair. Wanganeen-Milera can keep going wide if he wants. Burns is on out there and he'll find him no problem.
Outside 5.
Dow
on the end.
infield to Marshall. Now Steele. Richmond just need to hang on here before half-time. Don't want to concede another goal. And Trezise, who's a full-blooded player, he commits to the ball on the ground and in the air.
Saints really dominating uncontested possessions. They're plus 29 for the quarter. Richmond, I think you're going to have to adjust at half-time, just even the mentality about we've got to tighten this up and not allow the Saints so many chains of uncontested.
18th touch for Rioli is a good kick. He pulled it back to Taranto. He's dealt with physically. 18 touches, Rioli, 17 Banks, 16 for Sinclair of the Saints. Back to Bolter.
And this is another area of the ground where it just gets too stretched for the Tigers. We need to bring them up from their last line, their full forward line, all the way up.
Rioli by hand to Bolter. Bolter up to half forward. Maybe the Tigers can manufacture a scoring chance here. McLennan couldn't take it. Socket by Mansell. Mansell picks up. Hand pass to Bauer. Back towards Bolton. Now the finish. Bolton goals. And gets one just before half-time for Richmond. Back-to-back Tiger goals. The margin is cut to 14 points. And Rioli had several involvements in all of that in the build-up.
So you can just keep getting more numbers to the ball if you bring players up around the ball, and then you can keep challenging them forward, spitting those players, making a bit of a off chance that they get the ball forward, challenge that defence.
Shea Bolton. Good finish in the end, 2 in a row for the Tigers here. Not a lot of time left to do much more, though. Can the Tigers retain him? Or do they look at the trade and get significant value for him? Maybe 2 first-rounders, as what is being suggested at the moment. So a 3-goal to 2-quarter in favour of the Saints.
So it's half-time at Marvel. Marvel Stadium. These two teams with just 2.5 games left in their year. And it is St Kilda by 14 points after they led by 6 at quarter time. It's 7-4-46.
Create their own tempo. It's all been a bit rushed. You see the goals they've kicked, they've been scatterball, gun approach, you know, on the move. Bradley, whereas the Saints have had several avenues and a bit more composed.
They just need to watch the overlap run of Sinclair. He's the one. He can play midfield. He protects the back half of the stoppage normally, and he's the one who goes. They need a closer eye on Sinclair, and if they can restrict his output, 16 disposals in the first half. If he has another 16, it's a Saints win. If they can restrict that, and they'll be in the game.
OK, so 2.5 games left in their season. How important are they if they want to finish their season on a winning note? It's Tim Taranto playing his 150th as life after Dusty continues. Here we go with the second half from Marvel Stadium.
Jones tackle, got it to Clark though to steal. Back to Clark. He comes clear of the square. With a long kick inside 50. Running under it was Sharman. And that comes the way of Wood. Mason Wood's eyes are darting all over the place. He's going to sit it up to the pocket. Membry one-handed. And a boundary throw-in.
Just reckon that could go to a more dangerous spot. Can you put that to 15 metres out and still the players still know where it's going? It's still going to sort of a in-between three. It wasn't really kicked to anyone.
Yeah, I thought exactly the same thing, Joel. Just give your forwards a better chance. At least if it gets to ground level, you're in a scoring position.
And Curvis back here. Rioli sharp. Really sharp hands. Tigers. One from short. Finding Prestia. Hopper taking some metres through the middle, put Bolton under the pump, but he was good enough to get rid of it quickly. Froston looking for Campbell. Oh, Graham, sorry. Graham had to go back and get it, and a wobbler inside, and Ryan takes the mark.
Well, it was dangerous and a little bit messy, but it was effective because the ball kept moving forward. The Tigers players, they brought it back through the midfield. They were forcing St Kilda to defend, but they weren't quick enough to close the space, and then really good kick from Graham. Just changed the angle, had the forward coming forward and free. Really well done from Richmond through the middle of the ground.
So Ryan here. About 47 metres out. Kick looks good. It's got to come back a little, and it doesn't. He did hit it well, though.
Just 18 tackles on the day for St Kilda so far. It is a really hard ground to lay tackles on too. The ball moves so fast, and when the ball is live, it sometimes just gets tapped on. So you can't just use that as an excuse. So you've got to make sure that you're close enough that you can lay tackles.
Wanganeen-Milera, well, he's had a complete miscue there off the outside of the boot. And Mansell will have the free kick for Richmond. Mansell wants movement. He goes towards the pocket now. Curvis and Ryan off Taranto. Wilkie cleans up. Wanganeen-Milera is in a real bother. He doesn't know where to go. Again, a casual pokey kick. Hopper, Taranto in game 150. Probably won't have the carry. And Wanganeen-Milera and Wilkie are able to see it through for a minor score, but Wanganeen-Milera, for a skillful player, has had a few out-of-character moments.
He has. Even that one, he could have rushed over the line. You could see him thinking about it.
They had too much time to think, didn't he?
They're just not sure of the ruling that they're going to get.
Yeah.
I think they know the rules. I think it's the interpretation of each one is what they're unsure of. Mason Wood here. To play on down the line. Caminiti coming at it strongly to Bolter. Had it covered. Can go the short one to McIntosh. Now that's the length of that cut grass, which is not the required. I mean, how can the umpire not measure that and know that that is not 15 metres? McIntosh pushed underneath the footy, gobbled up there by Stocker. Sinclair. And now Owens.
Just need a better method. Richmond at that long down the line just allowed St Kilda to mop it up too easily.
Owens towards Sharman. Membry in front of broad marks. Wheels around, sends it in deep for the Saints. Higgins is there, it gets to the back. Burns tries to get dangerous. A mistime kick out on the full. St Kilda brains trust. Look like studying for exams or something, BT.
Very, very
Ross has got a pop quiz in about 5 minutes in the box.
Happy birthday too. 50th birthday to Darryl Wakeland. Played 115 games and a few goals for the Saints. And I can hear you, Al, wondering why I haven't said a happy birthday to his twin Shane. And that's because he was born after midnight on the next day. Caminiti, Jones, you're going to be all over me. I knew you were. Jones here, a little opportunity to go backwards, and now the Saints won't find space there. McIntosh works back into it nicely. Short, demanding the footy as the designated kicker in the back half did not get it, and he is not pleased. And now, as a result, McIntosh misses the lock. Wood gets back onto his left. Powerful forward-bound ball there. 2-on-1 Bolter. A reaching fist on Caminiti was good.
Yeah, Bolter came over the top, but it was really good craft from Vlosten. Just worked his direct opponent under so that Bolter could come third man in and affect the spoil.
Prestia. Rioli, and one of the best on the field. Miller. Taranto wants it in the corridor. He's ignored. Umpire says you've had more than your allotted time, Ben. Wilkie.
Yeah, that kick not working for the Tigers at the moment. They've sort of got to bring it across the ground. It's when they've looked the most dangerous.
Milera and Hill want to get this ball in motion. Mason Wood has the wing at his mercy. A bounce. Sharman.
Hill's free.
Sharman back inside. Wanganeen-Milera there. Found plenty of space. Good opportunity. Says, come on, someone come at me. I'm a really good kick. I will find you. Steele looking to play on. A little bit doubtful with the distance here, Steele. And fine. Sinclair had to stop and wait for it. That invited Mansell to come at it. Now the run of Prestia. The human meatball steaming through the middle. Finds Dow with a lovely kick. Dow can go inside 50. He too wanted Bolton to come at him.
Great kick.
Yeah.
Great kick. Held on to the ball long enough. Bolton got that little bit of separation. A great kick by Thompson Dow.
And it's great craft from Bolton because he kept moving. He didn't allow the defender to get any body contact or get a hand onto him. He stayed elusive. We just see the pattern here. He's moving, and then you lose him. And then, as you talked about, Joel, it was really patient work from Dow with the kick.
So Bolton from just 25 metres out, a little bit of angle as you can see. And he nurses that through nicely. So here they come, the Tigers. They've got 3 in a row.
Two for Bolton this afternoon. Now 30 for the season for him. Kick 4 against the Saints in that loss in gather round. Brendan Gale will be pleased with that.
Spoken about a bit today about where you want to turn the ball over and where you don't, and on top of 50 is definitely not where you want to turn it over. Prestia did a great job on finding Thompson Dow off the bench, and the rest was history. Just got to try and find Shea inside this 50 a lot more, the Tigers.
Marshall and Nankervis from the middle to Ranto, a few fumbles. Wood tackled by Prestia, just got a hand pass out. Ralph Smith took it, he's tackled by Steele, one arm pinned, holding the ball. So the umpire's saying there, well, you've just got to drop it onto your boot, try and do something, even if the arm's pinned.
Just still feels so dangerous, that. I mean, you think of knees and
the
position you can put yourself in.
Steele towards Membry. Roving at front and centre, Marshall hoisting high. And wide.
And Nank's slow to get up, and you talked about how selfless he is, Joel, at getting back into that hot spot, putting his body on the line. Another contest there where he was third man in, just waiting for contact, but good courage.
Risky kick, off hands, Membry. Risky. Gets his third Membry. Just when the Tigers had a little bit of momentum and were closing. Back out to a 13-point margin.
Well, it's a kick that Vlosten would love to have again, Joe, but you would love to see this more out of the Saints, taking the ball off their opponents higher up the ground and giving himself a chance at getting these rebound inside 50s. On this occasion, it was already in there.
Yep. Tim Membry's having a big influence on this game. 3 goals, 6 score involvements himself.
That will not be recalled. 27 goals, 8 now for Membry this season. Jones and Battle combined for the Saints. Burns.
And 17-5 from the set shot, Al, so he's really good at it, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, early in his career at the Saints, very accurate. Had a couple of inaccurate seasons, and then his last few have been very good again. Rioli to Ranto. Rioli's had 20-plus possessions now in 15 consecutive games, 23 today for him. Burns uses the body. Edges out Banks. Battle receives. Marshall to Hill. The Saints in flow now, and Membry might be on the end of this too. Well played, Flostone. Managed to get a fist to the ball and see it out of play.
Richmond's so focused on trying to make the ground big that if they do go down the line, they don't have great representation, and that's what the Saints are doing. They're sweating off those turnovers, playing field position that way.
Perfect fist from Floston there. Around the corner is Dow. Kick was smothered. Ricochet rebound, steal to Burns. Burns tries to chisel one in. Free kick. Will it go the Richmond way? I think it will. Or...
No. Short kick for a hold.
It's going to be a St. Kilda free. Marshall.
Thank you.
So he's definitely paying the free. So Rowan Marshall with the free ball. Let's have a look. Both arms around, and that's fair enough. Banks was just a little concerned that he was going to be beaten then. So just when the Tigers looked like they were coming, haven't won here, the Tigers, since May of 2021. It's been a long time. Rowan Marshall now to get it back to a safer 19-point margin. That'll come back nicely. Has a couple as well. Back out of that 19-point margin now. Don't like coming here, the Tigers, do they? They just do not like playing here.
Yeah, well, Damien Hardwick was happy to put that on the record, wasn't he? Round 9 against the Giants, their last win here.
I've really liked Burns' game so far today. He's shown some speed, gets forward, nice delivery, and any ruckman that can go forward and hit the scoreboard like Marshall, he is such a barometer to how this team plays. Love his competitiveness, love his influence, and he's getting a well-deserved drink there.
Taranto, Ryan, Thompson, Dow. It's away from his brother. Just a half forward. Ralph Smith there with McLennan, who takes possession of it. Sinclair, Wood, his kick smothered by Banks, comes to short, his kick smothered by Wilson. And so round 9, 2021 against the Giants is when Richmond last claimed a victory here. St Kilda with a bit of breathing room now.
And I think it has a lot to do with the way in which they play. You know, keeping the ball in motion is much harder here because there's less space to be able to do it as opposed to the MCG.
Hopper Trying to get evasive. Rioli slips away from two of them. Superbly done, and a bounce. Great play, Rioli. Ryan will give it back to him. Dan Rioli, a squaring kick. Flostone.
He wants to play on. Rioli just superb. Create the space. Mansell, high footy. Ralph Smith getting into position. Zigged and zagged, and his man just zigged and lost him.
There's a nice shimmy on there, and I'm sure we'll see it on the replay, BT, but he did a good job, Ralph Smith. Like to be more involved today than what he has been, but he's been putting a hell of a lot of pressure on when it's gone out his way.
Desperate need of a goal here, the Tigers. Ralph Smith gives them that. A little bit of belief here from the Tigers. Players getting around him, and they have got a bit of belief. So back to 13 points. Ralph Smith gets his second. The slippery one.
Well, Joel, you can see why there's some ex-Richmond coaches who are looking very closely at trying to bring this man up to the north. He's got some real talent.
Yeah, if he wasn't worth 2 picks before today in the first round, he definitely is after what he's been after he's put on in this first 3 quarters today.
424 metres gained, the most on the ground. He's had the most disposals on the ground, 25.
Starting to look better, the Tigers as well. They're getting their type of game going.
McIntosh. And they find consecutive goals again, the Tigers. Sends it in deep. Kazitsky there, it gets to the back. Bolton will try and give Battle nightmares. Bauer runs into Burns, and he's held up.
Go for it, mate. Thanks, mate. Good stuff. Just here, Ross.
Who'd be a coach, eh, Ross?
Samson, roll.
Been able to take away the uncontested possession for St Kilda.
Taranto just got boot to ball, and Short has marked.
So the uncontested game is what St Kilda were thriving on in that second quarter. Richmond have really been able to tighten that, not allowing a lot of the uncontested marks and getting better in the contest. We can see Taranto just getting the ball forward and keeping it in motion, Joel.
So Jaden Shorts. Oh dear, you'd back him in from 60 on the fly, but from 30 out directly in front he misses. Richmond has had now 4 marks inside 50 this quarter.
They're going well off the Taranto kick, Joe, but it's a possession that we would have seen before round 10 this year where he holds on to the ball. Now that you get called holding the ball for it, the players looking to create is something a little bit different.
Prestia very close to being out of bounds. Kazitsky, they keep it alive, the Tigers. They're full of energy now. They're finding a little bit here. Can St Kilda just snuff that out ever so slightly? Hill back inside with a sliding handball. Gives an opportunity for Dow to explore the 50. Bolter! Sensational grab in front of Caminiti. And wants to go immediately. And does out wide to Mansell. Mansell can play on, no one on the mark. That's a good ball to Kazitsky.
Kazitsky's got Bolton screaming for it. Sinclair gets across to guard him. Instead, the kick to Ryan. Up goes Howard at the back. Oh, just a few little moments here for Richmond.
Certainly feels like it, doesn't it? The game is faster in this quarter, and that's because they've been able to deny the uncontested mark game of St Kilda. And that game in motion, which is what they talked about so often, we're starting to see that come to fruition.
And Curvis to the front, Prestia. Immediately latching onto him was Jones, and Hunter for assistance. Embry just sorting himself out on the bench. He's had a decent day at the office, kicking 3.
And Curvis appealing for the free. Dow had to go and get it. No whistle. Boston came through with some strength. Dow, wonderful. Owens. Richmond defending stoutly here. Sharp little handball. And the Tigers remain with possession here. Banks. So a stagnant Richmond forward 50. So all Banks can do is propel it down the line here. Very high ball from the side bower almost. The other thing the Tigers are looking to stave off, never have they lost more than 18 games in any season ever. You can go back to 1912. They're on 18 losses at the moment. Lose this today, and it will officially be their worst season in history, the Tigers, in terms of losses anyway. Nankervis, Prestia, and marked right on the line there by McLennan.
Uses Wilkie. Wilkie goes towards Burns at half-back. Feeds Wanganeen-Milera. Wants to cut back in field. Buys himself some time and uses it superbly to Clark. Opens up the corridor. He opens up nothing but an opportunity for Richmond. Nankervis to Prestia, to Rioli. A chance now for Hopper. Ryan can't mark. Ralph Smith. A bouncing ball towards full forward. It bowls past Kazitsky and Battle. Might be content to see it out.
This is the pressure that Uzo would like to see. 5 of the last inside 50 going to the Tigers. Keeping it down this end of the ground.
Tigers within 2 goals. It's just under 7 remaining in the third. They have not given up the task here, the Tigers, that is for sure. Steele bangs it in the middle. Broad will get under this. 146 gained, the same as some legends. Swift, Ganane and Green, all Hall of Famers at Richmond. 146 for Broad. Congratulations to him. Now an opportunity for Trusais to drill the ball long and deep. Can a Tiger mark this? Ralph Smith was high. Plenty of Saints out the back. Almost tripping over was Battle on the line. Gave it to a man in Clark who was under severe pressure. Sinclair, little chipper. Pulled the steal.
That's a 5.
So the Saint defence under some pressure. Standing up in the face of it. Burns, beautiful pass.
2 metres back.
Laces out onto the chest of Marshall. Marshall gets it moving to Steele. Steele chips towards half forward. Up goes Sharman, couldn't take it. Roved by Caminiti. Hill.
Saints out the back.
Waits the hand pass. Owens sees the Saint out the back in Wilson, and Wilson dribbles it into the goal umpire's feet. Against the run of play, St.Kilda finds an important goal, and the margin is back out to 18 points. Darcy Wilson is one that has shown very encouraging signs for the Saints this season. It's his 13th goal for the year. And just as Richmond was working its way back, it seemed the buffer is back out to 3 goals.
They just worked the ball through a little bit quicker here, the Saints. A great contest by Sharman and Owens, bringing it to ground. Then they got the runners going, but we look behind the goals, just off screen. Wilson made his way down to the goal square, working harder. I reckon Jack Higgins would have liked that handball, BT.
I say, get out of the way, Jack. Go and shepherd. Into the middle we come, the Tigers again. So just in the nick of time, back out to 18 points. And this will be a Tigers free. Some attention down near you, Chris. There's Prestia. Launches a high ball. Right in front, never really got near it. Mason Wood out the back to Battle. Battle to Wilkie. Wilkie high balls one on the head of Caminiti and Owens. Hopper. Handball to no one. Clark. Little low skimmer. Wonderful pickup by Higgins. Mounted solidly by Rioli, who recovers his own tackle ball. Now a high ball inside Ryan again. This time hands to it, but Wilkie safe.
He goes out towards Wanganeen-Milera. Off his hand, Wilson collects. And they have an option now. Marshall. Hill. Takes his time. Drives it into the pocket. Good mark. Sharman in from the side on Trusais.
Oh, he's been impressive all day. Sharman, we've talked about him. I just love his athleticism and his profile. He can get up the ground, but he can be influential in the air as well. and hits the scoreboard. Something really to like about him as a forward going for the future of the Saints.
Sharman's kicked a couple. Try and bend it through on his left boot. It is not bending anywhere near enough.
Guys, St Kilda have made their sub. Angus McLennan out, and Jimmy Webster has come in.
Thanks, Chris. Here's Bolter. Good mark taken by Battle. Around the corner looking for Hill. He was met solidly. Dumped out of the way was Dow. Game becoming very fierce now, if it wasn't already. There's another Dow. Hill with the spoil. Prestia ping-ponging in the middle to Ralph Smith. Tried to beat the Stocker tackle. Not on. Saints get collection. Still. Little one to Higgins. Higgins a driving ball. Man loose in the square. Can they get back? Caminiti will get the front on contact, I suggest. Broad was there. It might have been the other Tiger coming front on. Caminiti with the free at the top of the square.
Jesus, respect for the contest on all players involved in it. Broad coming back, Miller going, Caminiti making sure he puts his name on it.
Come back with me.
Both involved really in the front on contact. It was never in doubt. He's still brave.
Broad never took his eyes off the ball, did he? And
Boys, amazing commitment.
I'm at 10. Come with me. I don't think you're genuinely.
So Caminiti to get it out to 24. Directly in front, should convert from there. He does. 24-point leaders. Now this is going to test the Tigers. They've bounced on everything and they've been wanting to fight back. When does it wear off? 4 goals to 1 out of the last 5 goals in St Kilda's favour.
It was a big tackle there from Lance Stocker. Just the ball was heading Richmond's way and he was able to nullify that momentum through his commitment to the tackle, and then we see that contest. All players really brave, but Caminiti infringed and deserving of getting the free kick.
And Curvis runs into Rowan Marshall. Socket forward by the Richmond captain, Stocker. At centre half back, Webster, his first possession, finds Wood. Belts it out in front of Wanganeen-Milera. That was a bit agricultural. Flostone pressed out towards Bolton. Squaring kick, gets past the intended target, Mansell. Wilkie, Stocker, Webster and Wood. Jeepers, alliteration there. As Wood puts it out on the full. And the Tigers will have it.
Great pressure there by Shea Bolton. When he does that at his best, he's so hard to play against.
They need something to happen here, the Tigers. Banks. It's a very stagnant forward 50. Have a look at that. Not any movement at all. Mason Wood in front out the back to Battle. He'll let it go over the line. No, keeps it alive. Wilkie now drives it along. It's a 2-on-2 here. Caminiti's there, so is Bolter. Did well, Bolter, so they maintain the ball in their forward half here, the Tigers. 2 minutes to 3/4 time. Tigers are in desperate need. Ross Lyon is wondering what else he can do to help the team. Positionally, up to the front by Hopper. Got the give and go back from Nank. Hopper now trying to square the ball. Got in the way, Mason Wood.
Nice running pattern from Mason Wood. He started as the winger, and then as the play evolved, realised his role was to drift back and cover the inside 50 kick. Really smart play.
Dow receives from Wanganeen-Milera. Goes to Battle now.
Outside 5. Wow.
Josh battles a thumping kick. Membry in the pack, but Nankervis over the back. Long one back to the wing. Can Samson Ryan take a mark here? Punched away by the smaller Stocker all too easily.
They need to get a little bit of reward here, the Tigers, quickly, just to give them a little bit of life again. The energy they had is dissipating ever so slightly. Marshall and Nankervis, two of the best. Riol, he went hard, won it, got it to Prestia. Wow, that was sensational. And a beautiful ball out wide to Campbell. Too far to score, perhaps. No one deep in the square, so he can't just pound it long. Rioli's sitting in the hole. Little too heavy. Stocker.
Yeah, it was the right kick. It was just the execution part, but Rioli drifted forward and he was free.
Marshall.
Play on, not 15.
Webster. Goes in the Caminiti direction there with Bolter. Owens roves it. Loopy hand pass Caminiti. Took contact from Bolter. Precise. Prestia.
Clear out. Play on.
Ryan and Bolton. Bolton edges them out. Gets to the back. Well done by Battle. Stuck to him. And it will be a boundary throw-in. Tigers maybe a sneaky chance here late, but it'll have to be a hurried shot from this stoppage. And Curvis, Marshall in front. Graham, here's the shot. Rioli has had an excellent game. Can't find the major opening there. A 4-goal lead to the Saints at three-quarter time.
So after their 85-point mauling at the hands of Brisbane last week, St Kilda is poised to get back on the winners list with a quarter to go. It is a 24-point lead over Richmond at Marvel Stadium. 11-5-71 to 7-5-47. When Shea Bolton kicked a goal early in their third, they got within 7 points, Derm, before the Saints ran away with it. They kicked the last couple of the quarter. So Tim Membry has 3 goals. Talk to me about, I mean, it's very different either ends of the ground. St Kilda's goals seem to be coming a lot easier than the Tigers.
I didn't mind the Tigers that quarter. They one footy behind the ball, but they had repeat entries into what was predominantly a congested forward line most of the time. Whereas the Saints' goals came very easily. They got a man out the back. The Tiger defence get it wrong. There's a walk-in goal there. They've had a couple of walk-in goals. They've had the memory snap we saw as we came back onto air here. And this one here, you see them peel out the back. Higo gets it long over the back once again. Caminiti, all he has to do is front up to that. He knows he's going to get contact. They're very, very easy goals. Now, as I say, it was good by Richmond because they won contest behind the footy and kept banging it back in. More times they went inside 50 than St Kilda. But it was congested.
Yeah, exactly.
The one time they had a good look at it. Now, what happens is when you're a forward and you run back towards goal because you've got a teammate kicking it over your head, too many players run straight at goals. Watch Bolton's zigzag lines, and he forces his opponent Stocker to follow those tracks, and he gets an uncontested mark. Too many players go, it's coming this way, goals that way, and they just straight line it. The backman loves that. He knows where you're going. But if you do that and you make him look, turn, you can get the easy receive like that. Lovely forward craft. It's just a pity it wasn't the key forward that did it. It was a rover, resting.
Paddy Dow's had a good afternoon. He was a late inclusion. And he's playing, obviously, against his brother, Thomas.
Yep.
Who, that is happening for the very first time this afternoon, I'm reliably informed. So he's had a good game after being the late inclusion. All right, so the margin's 24 points. It was 6 at quarter time. It was 14 at half time. So they've extended their lead with every break. But we have seen the Tigers with a couple of mini rallies and draw within, as I said, got within 7 points at one stage.
So if you're a Tiger supporter, you want to see them put back-to-back goals on the board. No point just giving one, working hard for it, letting another slip. Back-to-back goals. They've got to double up.
The change has been made for the Tigers. Here's the final turn.
Prestia Charging out Bauer, back with the flight. Sinclair, though.
Oh, it's hard in the mouth there. Great courage from Sinclair.
Hill never took his eye off it. Jack Sinclair. Wanganeen-Milera working his way into this game. The longer it goes as Sharman presents up.
Sharman. On the Tuataloga. Beautiful ball to Webster. Out wide. Look at Wilkie. Sneaking down the flank. Almost within range. But very selflessly goes and finds a man that is within range. Rowan Marshall. That was going to be the collision from hell if it actually happened. They were both going at pace.
Have a look at Sinclair's eyes. Just completely focused on the ball.
Could have been an absolute disaster. So Marshall using the full 30 here. Big kick for the Saints is to make it a game-high margin of 30 points. Marshall comes in, distance no problems, accuracy is just off a little, and Nankervis helps it through the middle. Amazing commitment. Well, just looking at Dion Prestia, I noticed that he's just got the short sleeve on now. He's ripped the sleeves off. Prestia must be building up a bit of a sweat out there, getting a little hot inside that blanket that he was wearing.
It was an odd choice at the beginning.
Yeah. He's an odd unit.
Good that he's signed again for another year, BT.
Yes, I see that he has for another year, so that'll just about see him out, Joe.
Miller sends the Tigers to the wing. Membry spins, goes long, Broad bumps Sharman out of the way. Hill rises up to take it. Rioli got him, slung him, holding the ball.
In fact, Joe, what happens with Prestia is that'll depend on next year his run with injuries, I reckon, as to what happens. If he has a good run, he could sneak another year, but if he doesn't...
Been interrupted this year, isn't he?
Yeah, just his 11th game of the season today.
You really hope...
Half injuries, sorry, Joel.
Oh, you really hope he does get a good run at it too, because Nathan Broad is another player that signed up this week, and they're two players that are going to take him forward.
Sinclair trying to kick into the space for Butler or Owens. Owens takes possession. And Flostone didn't know it was play on, and Butler tackles him. And the umpire says, I'll ball it up.
Well, how is that not prior opportunity? Because it was play on before the player tackled him.
Flostone almost needed to somehow pull Butler over the scoring line there.
Don't knock it over on the full.
The umpire felt pity for him in the end, but I'm scratching my head as to how that is not a free kick. It is now.
He's done a good job, Rowan Marshall. He's going to come up to kick his third goal of the day as a ruckman.
It's a great point, Joe. His fourth shot for the day. This will be his third goal, but what you like about it, he's putting himself in that position too to get really dangerous. Go down, take the ruck contest. I love ruckmen that want to do that, not sit behind the ball.
So Marshall now early in the final quarter. And he comes. This will equal his career high in terms of goals, 3, and he's got it. .31 points.
Well, BT, you talk about this tackle and Gloston having no opportunity to get rid of it. Well, he did. And it's not like there's 50,000 out there either screaming. I'm sure he could have heard the whistle, but Marshall very clever. Did what he needed to win the free kick. Kicks his third.
11 goals for Marshall in the last 7 weeks, so he's hitting the scoreboard.
21 touches as well, 17 kicks. He gets busy around the ball, 4 contested possessions, 3 inside 50s, 8 score involvements from Marshall. So he's influential in the ruck and then also at ground level too.
Curvis is getting a bit physical out there. First he took Marshall, now he takes Dow. He's fired up and frustrated. Big Nag. Saints forward again. Embry in front of the pack, they pile in.
It said it well, Al. I think you can see the frustration in his face. He knew that they needed the first one out of the break to stay in this game.
St Kilda forward end here. And Curvis. Short, broad. Rioli. Hill chasing. Kick wide, not a lot on. And losing control, the Tigers. Talking to someone in the corridor at three-quarter time out there, Ellen. Dusty bows out after 302 games, just about every accolade. I'm not a selector, but I can tell you that he'll go into the Hall of Fame in 2030 along with Tom Hawkins, both of them done. So I know you are a selector of the Hall of Fame, so your work for 2030 is all but done with Hawkins and Martin in.
I'm sure I'll get the chop by then, BT.
Is that right?
5 years, I think.
You won't have to meet and have your freeloading lunch in 2030.
If there was a freeloading lunch to be had, you'd be making a case to be on the committee, I would have thought. Here's Membry. Champion players of the game. Records speak for themselves, don't they? Owens, strong mark, top of the 50.
So how long after retirement?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Your line on. Thanks, Mitch.
It was a very tough job indeed. So Owens is thinking about a shot here. Slow and steady. Sets it on its way across the face of goal. And up goes Nankervis to punch it into the cheer squad.
Thanks, Toby.
So what's left to gain here for these players in this game? There's no top 8 position on offer here, Joel and Joe, but what are the coaches, what are the players, what can you gain as a player in these last few quarters of the year?
Well, there's only 22 games a year, and so there's a limited amount of chances. And you know, we talked about Paddy Dow for an example. He's got an opportunity to show the coaching staff and himself that he's able to perform at this level. There's plenty of players out there, whether they're young or old, are all playing for next year or the future years, and the coaches are looking at them thinking about what's my team going to look like, who are the players who can perform at this level. There is plenty of all these players to play for.
Of course, it's very easy to fall out of favour with a coach in the last 3 games of the year as well. And, you know, he could think differently of you going into that pre-season.
Yeah, and Ross has spoken about it during the week, the culture and character piece that he really wants coming out of this group. So you've got plenty of players that are within the age bracket that have still got lots to earn.
Here to Burns. Butler.
End zone.
Hill, good strike. Sharman to the back. Almost swallowed it. Almost got it. Butler on a rampage around the corner.
All clear. Touch.
He's exciting, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just finding a way to be really dangerous down there today. On the toughest of opponents, Noah Bolter doesn't get outmarked, and there was an occasion that he nearly did.
Miller into Rioli. He took a bit of contact, but still took the mark.
Stand.
Short. Now Broad. He's got Bolter at centre-half back. He can go to the outer side of the ground. Banks, who started this game so brightly, he still had a career high. Now 23 disposals. Goes to Nankervis. Howard spoils.
Contact. Richmond.
Free kick to the Tigers. Nankervis receiving one for high contact.
Richmond supporters feel like they've been hard done by in the free kick count, 17-8.
The kick to full forward. Bauer flies. Chance underneath for Smith. He's tackled, dispossessed, goes again. Smith got it out. Graham goes for goal and misses.
That was good play by Smith, coming on as the sub. Just got busy at the ball, found Graham with the handball receive.
See the ball person saying to Sinclair, you've got to come and get the ball off me. I'm not allowed to throw it to you. See that? You're signifying, no, you've got to come to me. I can't throw it to you.
Real power play, isn't it, BT?
Yeah, it is.
Getting it from you. You come
ball
get
off
it from me.
out there. Getting a little annoyed. Yes, Membry. High footy. No winner here except for Miller. Just interesting, interesting byplay. Risky stuff if you're the ball person. Taranto looking for someone to run in with. Prestia did well back to Taranto. Nice little ball to Campbell. Can go all the way. 45 and closing. It's a little right.
Been good to see Tim Taranto today. You can see the class that Richmond have missed through that midfield with his absence, and he's going to play a big part in the rebuild of this Richmond team moving forward. Really important role to play.
Steele, Wilkie, Burns. So the Saints with clashes against Geelong here and Carlton here, which could be a fascinating 3:20 Sunday game in the final round, with the Blues slipping out of the 8. Hawthorn thumping them at the MCG earlier today. Bolter takes the mark and doesn't break stride. Pumps it back towards the 50. Bauer there, Wilkie with his smarts. Webster to battle has had a good day. The Tigers have Hawthorn at the MCG and then Gold Coast at the MCG to complete the season.
Wilson, one of their good young ones, the Saints. Be looking for a few more like him. Here's Dougal Howard to the skipper.
Go with him.
Sinclair, as they gradually move down the field. Jones looks wide for Hill. Kick wasn't fantastic. Short was able to work the angle. Here's Bolton. He looks for a runner, left or right. Doesn't care which way it is. Graham, long one to Prestia, back in the middle. Bolton again. Now Bolton, a swashbuckling ball inside 50. 2-on-1 down there. Howard destroyed the ball. It spills. Opportunity for Bayer.
It was a bad defensive effort by Howard, actually, to be honest. There was 3 of them around the ball, none of them talking to each other, the Saints, and gave Bauer a free shot at goal.
Howard in the back pocket. 1-6 this quarter from the two teams. Wilkie racked them up today as well. Taken 10 marks at 21 disposals, Cal Wilkie. His kick is smothered. He'll go back and gather, but over the top of him goes Power of the Tigers.
Thank you.
Been a shining light today, Bauer, I reckon. Jumping at the ball well. Looks dangerous down in that forward line.
You got up, Jacob. Get out of his way then, please. Thanks.
Kosicki and Marshall, grunts and groans. Kosicki, Taranto, Bolton. Slipped the tackle. Gave it off to Banks. Banks hard on the boundary line. Mansell commits, but it has gone beyond the line before hands got to it. And a free kick to the Saints.
Yeah, just to the 9. Thanks, mate. Thank you.
So Howard. Saints' form in recent weeks has been pretty good. They won 3 of their last 5 games. The Saints add this to that, and it's a reasonable finish for them. Taranto, Membry, Hill, Webster. High ball. Caminiti. Probably a throw in most people's ball. Butler. Little one to Higgins. Just couldn't quite get a good sight on the football. Short goes forward and wins it to Prestia. Prestia, Kosicki, the give and go. Back through the middle to Graham. And the Tigers run themselves into a little bit of a mini brick wall. Going backwards now, losing ground, and eventually they get nothing out of what looked a promising opportunity.
Miller to half-back and short.
I think part of it, too, is taking off Ryan, BT. They can see no one up forward that's with any height. So when they look up, it just looks like St Kilda numbers down there.
Thanks to Hopper. So it looks like Anthony Caminiti's got into the protected area.
To the next umpire. To the next umpire. Clear it out.
Ross Cam gives us another interesting insight into the
Keep going.
man himself. And this is just completely uncontested for Prestia, but he cannot make the most of his freedom.
And this is what we've talked about a bit, Joel, is about how you finish games, how you finish seasons, and the standards in which the players want to play at. And I think these times in these games are really important for St Kilda to be able to drive and keep those standards high, because that will translate into performance and the whole group and how they go.
A lot of people make footy tick these days. There's a man that's, well, he's the timekeeper, of course. 600 games, 36 years in the business. I think he used to be the West Coast Eagles timekeeper. There was a day where they used to bring their own, the clubs. I think 2000 they gave it away, and they've now gone to independent timekeepers. But Don Stock, game 600, 36 years. And the guy on his right, actually, or on the right of screen there, is a former goal umpire and is the 2IC. Because tonight in his 600th, Don gets to ping the siren, push the button. That is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It's fantastic.
Imagine that.
They work together. They watch the umpire intently to see when the umpire calls time on, time off. Occasionally, Don reckons that the umps get a bit confused and he has to use his footy nous and knowledge to make the call himself.
I just worked out how 36 years or 600 games, that's 48,000 minutes, I think, that he's... plus time on that he's been on the clock. But if you are the #1 timekeeper, as Don is tonight, you get to honk the siren. The other guy's just got to sit there and twiddle his thumbs.
It's a deserved honour.
They are a necessity in football.
I wonder if they moved to an independent group because they weren't quite happy about the teams being in control.
I did ask that question and there was a bit of silence.
Well, I wonder if Joe Watson was in the timekeeper's box here last night, whether Mac Andrew might have just missed out on that mark by a split second.
Mark's just here.
I'm sure it was more prevalent at the old Windy Hill or Victoria Park. Down at Continue Park, Joel.
Sheeds would have had his henchman.
He had the windsock taken down one time. He didn't want
I think they were playing West Coast or someone.
didn't want them to know.
Which one right there? Mark's just here.
Oh, man. Stupid things you used to do. Taking the windsock down Windy Hill. Like, you can put your finger up and work it out. throw a leaf.
Throw some grass and do the trick. Oh, the fun old times of footy.
Beautiful kick. Butler bends it through, brings more Saints joy. So Butler against his former team grabs a goal late in proceedings and ensures that this will be a fairly comfortable St Kilda victory here this afternoon, and he has been a key part of it, Rowan Marshall.
Well, Rowan Marshall, he's had a big day all across the ground, but especially in front of the footy. It's been really pleasing for the St Kilda side to see how they can use him on the way forward. Gets in behind his defence, helps them out when it's needed. He'd be a great teammate for those guys around him.
To the middle we go. Bolton may not have got it onto the boot. A little unlucky there.
Stay there. Stand there.
Daniel Rioli leads all possession getters today, 32. High footy, Martin and Curvis.
Stand!
It will be interesting to see the Tigers, whether they want to grab a handful of young kids, while we believe it's one of the strongest drafts for quite a few years. And they can do that if they're willing to trade a couple. They'll get a number of picks early in the draft. Will they look at that by moving a few on, or are they satisfied?
Well, it's a fine balance between getting too young and ripping the heart out of your side, but also maximising what you have and what you can get. And we talked about that before the game. I think it's important that they've re-signed Prestia and Broad, but maybe there's a couple of other options that they can look at.
Caminiti from a long way out here. So you would think that one's just offline. You would think Rioli is a 2 first-round picks. You would think Bolton is definitely 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
So they've both got some.
And the teams that are after them have multiple first-round picks in the Gold Coast and Fremantle. So sometimes it's not just who you want to trade with, but maximising what they have to give you as well. And that's all about timing.
A big spiral out of defence from Rioli. Thompson Dow to Hopper. Clark on his hammer. Back to Trezise. Rioli again. Caminiti, look at those big arms, the wingspan. He wound up, he wanted to nail him. Trezise bursts away.
Like a trap fly.
They're surging forward again. Trezise kicks towards full forward. Moved by Wanganeen-Milera, sets a task of Wilson. Wilson did well. Took the contact, got the hand pass. Wanganeen-Milera now to Howard. Howard to the back pocket where he finds Burns. Short one to Battle. Battle finds Sinclair.
Joel, that's a good example of the method at ground level of Richmond players. They had a huge outnumber, but they all went to the same players rather than numbering off, because they really should have got a turnover and kicked a goal out of there with the representation they had.
And it's just a part of the game. They haven't played enough footy together, really. As we've spoken about before, 42 players have gone through this side just this year.
Marshall did well out-marking Bolter. Bolter thought it was coming longer than it was. Marshall just read the angle of fall better. So Rowan Marshall, it's just goal number 4 for a career high 4 goals. It's a good-looking stats board for him. This one from about 35 metres out. Oh, he's got it high. He's got under it. It's a very, very high ball. Caminiti almost. Risky handball out Nankervis. Little one wide and finds an opportunity with Smith, the sub, who has been activated.
Just when he was doing the ruckman so many favours, he's just gone and done that, the big fella.
Yes.
Smith to the wing. Webster. Clark. Prestia closes him down, but he does well to find the chest of Wood. So Wood thrusts St.Kilda forward from the side. Perhaps a chance for Membry. Couldn't take the mark. Going low, Higgins. I'm sure he accentuated that, but he was still taken high by Flostone, who decides once you get him and give one away, you may as well completely make him earn it.
It's yours. Everyone else, get out of the way.
Believe it or not, Allied did get on the receiving end of a few of those where they actually made it really hurt. Andrew Swallow was the best. He would squeeze you just a little bit tighter.
That's it right there. That's the line, Jack.
That was trademark Selwood.
Oh, good. He's given it.
Really.
Well, Higgins able to regain some oxygen to bend it through for another St Kilda goal. So Butler and Higgins finding last quarter goals against their former team. Higgins, the leading goal kicker for the Saints last year and this year. He's the 31 for the season now. 30, 36 and 31 his past 3 seasons.
So Higgins here, have a look at this. It's almost like in the end, just that little one there, he thought his head was a twist top and tried to twist it off. This one here, look at this, just a little bit of an ink there. And 43 games he played during that period at Richmond when they won their flags. He didn't get it to be a member of any of those flag sides, but he was there in a lot of that period. Jack Higgins.
Great to see him just back out there after what he went through.
It's fantastic to see him out there playing football, and he thought that was never going to happen with the brain operation that he had. Boston to Dow. Winking ball to Rioli. Squirts it forward and Wilkie, superb. Daniel Rioli up to 35 touches of the footy today. 80% effective by foot.
He's been unbelievable, and to be honest, it would be really hard for Richmond supporters to hear the news of Rioli and Bolton and all these players that may not be there at the end of the year. They're obviously loved to the faithful for so long and done so many great things. But sometimes for the betterment of your club, those decisions are made by people that are getting paid a lot of money to make those moves.
Jones to steal. Ralph Smith will mark. No, he doesn't. It bounces away from Trezise. Taken by Higgins. Off to Dow, to Wood in tight. Gives to Butler, shrugs the tackle. This is Brett and Butler. Butter. So the Saints are scoring heavily late. 8 goals now the lead, and Butler has 2 last quarter goals. Ross has found a look of cheer, and the Saints fans are doing just that.
Ralph Smith would like his time again there with that mark, and that's what happens at this level. You get people make you pay for your mistakes. Butler there with the snap on the outside of the boot. Really clever way to get the ball to turn the way you wanted. Just kick the check side there, and really good finish from the small Saint forward.
Good player, Dan Butler. Reliable. To the middle we go again. So just a minute and a half remaining here. And Ross Lyon's St.Kilda. They're going to make it 4 out of their last 6 games that they have won. They are finishing with Geelong and Carlton over the next 2 weeks. Their wins have come against Sydney, West Coast, Essendon, and now Richmond. So it's a little bit of something to like in those wins. He's Broad. Had that bad sort of middle part of the year where they lost 3 or 4. I think they lost 6 out of 7 games, maybe. It was Sharman. High footy. Short was able to nudge Owens under the footy. And a little bit of a win here for the Tigers as they go wide to McIntosh.
Thank you, Stone. Well.
McIntosh.
Back here, boys.
He's walked that over the line, has he? Boundary throw in.
You can't go out. You took the mark inside, and then you kick from outside.
There's the explanation from the umpire.
Invents a lot of board games, I believe, McIntosh. Strange unit. Works on games.
Does he?
Yeah, he's a carpenter, I think, Chippy, but
okay.
Does a lot of game stuff. Strange thing to do, but you know, each to their own.
You need a pastime, BT.
Yep, absolutely.
Flostone. Trezise, now the umpire has seen a free kick here off the ball.
Did you have a favourite board game, BT, that was your go-to?
Oh, I used to like playing for sheep stations because I thought everything was about playing for sheep stations.
How were you as a landlord?
No,
I don't. How were you as a landlord on Monopoly? I can imagine you would have been.
I can tell you, I never sold.
He would have owned a few hotels, I would have thought.
And I was early to collect the rent.
Joel, this has deteriorated badly. St Kilda with a strong win. A convincing win in the end, an 8-goal win, their 9th of the season. The Saints come up with 4 goals in the last quarter and hold Richmond goalless. So St Kilda now won 3 of their past 4.
Yes, a big win for the Saints, Al. Well-deserved fighting. Richmond had a couple of cracks at trying to yank it off them, but in the end they got it done. Down to you, John.
Yeah, thanks, BT, here with Rowan Marshall Road. Did you know that it was going to be an all-time high for you, 4 goals, and you kicked the belly of it?
I think I kicked 3. Oh, yeah, I was lining up for 4, and I think Noah Bolter was on the mark, and I reckon he stepped over just before the umpire called play on. But a really good win for the boys. Really pleasing to bounce back after last week. Last week was so disappointing, but, you know, good teams bounce back, and really pleased with what we did tonight.
That was your second half. You had 8 goals. You guys kicked 8 goals in the second half. What did Ross say at half-time?
Yeah, we were a bit off at half-time, and probably realistically throughout the whole night, just our pressure was a bit down and tackles and everything like that, but I thought we were able to move the ball really well. You know, 1 point shy of 100, so that was pleasing.
Well, congratulations, mate. Go and enjoy it with the boys.
Yeah, beautiful, will do.
Well done to Rowan Marshall.
So St Kilda celebrating its 9th win of the season. They've had wins over Essendon, West Coast and Richmond in